This is In Character. I'm your host, Gerard Robinson, Vice President for Education at the Advanced Studies in Culture Foundation. So, Betty Ann, welcome to In Character.
Thank you. Thank you. Happy to be here.
So, for those who have not yet had an opportunity to watch the video or to listen to it, um, two initial questions. Number one, what is it like to work with young people as an educator?
It's pretty amazing. I feel like I am their first experience really being in school, um, aside from preschool. And actually, this year I have a couple of students who have never been to preschool. So I'm really their first experience. And I take that with a lot of responsibility. I'm going to set the tone for them for their next 12 years of learning. And if their experience with me is not positive, it could have a, very hard effect on them the rest of their lives. So I do take it very seriously, and I try to make their first experience the best that it can be. I want it to be pleasant. I want it to be joyful. I want it to be challenging. And it's quite amazing to get them at such a young age and to see where they start and to where they are at the end when they leave me.
It's very few people who say, I want them to have a great first experience as it
Hmm.
relates to education. Often in business, when we talk about marketing, there are the four P's: product, place, price, and promotion. And
Hmm.
what you're saying is so important because what students think about schooling and the experience of learning preschool, really important. So thanks for putting that in
Hmm.
perspective because I think
Hmm.
it adds not a customer value perspective, but a human value perspective.
Hmm.
So you work with young people.
Yes.
Talk to us what it's like to work with young people in the COVID time period.
I was just talking with Catherine before we started, and it's pretty difficult. I was saying that the masks don't bother us so much. I find that we go out to take mask breaks and we all forget to take off our masks. So that's really become, second nature to us now. It's the distancing that I'm having the most
Interesting.
difficulty with because I need them close to me. I need to be able to whisper to them when I want to tell them something really important. I need them to be able to see all my facial expressions. I need them to see my mouth when we're trying to decode words. And they seem so far away physically from me. And that has definitely been the hardest. I'm a teacher who likes to do a lot of one-on-one work. So to have that not be able to sit right next to me to do some work with me is very difficult. I find that working with young children is it's intimate. Like you build a relationship with them, and it's hard to build that relationship when you can't be close in proximity. And I feel like that's that way with them, with each other. Kids learn so much from playing and being close and touching each other, positively, and getting that real experience of being together is such a learning experience for them, and they're missing out on a lot of that. That's been the biggest difficulty for me. I may be not thinking about other things because I'm so immersed in the classroom, but that's been the hardest for me, and I think for them.
Practical question. So if you had the same number of students you had last fall and you're just distancing them, or do you have fewer students, or do you even have a hybrid model? What do
We
you
are.
work?
I was just telling Catherine, we are back in school full time, 4 days a week,
Okay.
and on Wednesdays we're virtual. So right now I have 12 students, which is a lot less than is typical.
Okay.
However, there's another class in my building where the teacher has 23 students because depends on how many kids are opting out and going fully remote. So 4 of my students have gone fully remote. So that's why it's a smaller group.
Oh, okay. Got it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm talking to your colleagues across the country, and there are different models. I think you're the
Right.
first one, 4 days, I guess hump day is
Right.
virtual, and then you're
Right.
back in. How
Yep.
is it working with young people? Because we know it's tough, per se, as some of my high school educators will say,
Mhm.
with the teens. You're dealing with even younger students. Is it
Right.
more challenging than we would think, or not?
That's a really good question. I think it depends on the individual teacher, how difficult it is. Um, I think the kids are so resilient that they've become accustomed to what we're doing so quickly that I really don't find too many difficulties with it. I probably sound strange. I mean, it's difficult. And like I said, it's the distancing and not being able to take small groups and individual students, but we're making it work.
That's important, and thank you for
Yeah.
doing that. So many people in Connecticut, or let's say in Virginia, where I live, may never have an opportunity to meet someone who won the award that you won. And so I'm not going to be a spoiler. Um, Talk to us about the day someone said, we're going to nominate you for A, and
Hmm.
walk us to the point where you were announced as the winner of B.
Right. It was a pretty powerful experience. In Connecticut, what happens is you get nominated in your district, and 3 people actually nominated me the same year, which was pretty exciting. That doesn't happen very often. And they were all in my building. And so I had to go through a process of interviews for the district. And my superintendent came to me in the spring and said, it was after school. And she said, I want to tell you, you were chosen as North Haven's Teacher of the Year. And it was a little bit of a Seinfeld moment because I said, "Shut up," to my superintendent. So
Oh, wow.
um, it was pretty funny. So from there, it was a big long application process, and there was a committee in Connecticut, and they read over 100 applications. They chose, I believe, 16 of us, and we had to go for an interview in front of about 20 people, board members from different districts, people from communities, political people. And then they chose 4. And at the time, I kind of compared it to the NCAA tournament because you start out with those 64 teams, then you go to the Sweet 16.
Yep.
And so I was in the final 4.
Okay.
and and they came to my school. There were about 16 people who came to school. They watched me teach. They talked to parents. They talked to staff. They talked to kids. And I was teaching kindergarten at the time. So I would have loved to have been in on those conversations. One of the kids I remember said the best thing about me was that I let him have lunch every day. So, and there actually had been a former student I had at school that day, and he
Mhm.
was graduated from high school and everything, so he was able to give his insight, which was pretty special. And then they called me in and said, I was chosen, and you know there's history.
Wow. And the fact that you're in Connecticut, where the University of Connecticut is located and won a lot of national
Right.
championships.
Yep.
Yep, that
Yep.
Sweet 16, sweet, yep, that all works well with
And
me.
they had won the NCAA championship that year.
2000?
Yeah.
Yep. Now, every state teacher of the year says, or I should say, most say, that they didn't think they would win. I'm
Okay.
sure you may have thought the same. But when you won, what's the first thing that came to mind for you?
I couldn't wait to tell my mother.
Okay.
And I knew that how proud she would be of me. And I think I'd asked the committee, are you sure? Like, did you make a mistake? Did you mean something else? So I mean, unfortunately, I did think maybe this isn't quite right.
Right.
And then I thought, well, they did see me teach and they talked to people. So I guess it's the real thing.
The real deal at play.
Yeah, yeah. It's hard to believe it was 20 years ago. I remember it like it was yesterday.
And in fact, the excitement in your voice
Hmm.
and just looking at your face, it is as if it was yesterday
Yeah.
because it
Yep.
stays with you for the rest of your life.
Rest of my life. Yes.
Well, Betty Ann, I want to first of all thank you for your commitment to teaching. I want
Thank
to thank
you.
you for all the hard work you're doing, particularly with young people. We underestimate how important it is. And
Hmm.
as your group conversation discussed, the importance of brain science,
Yes.
and you're doing that work early, so I want to
Hmm.
appreciate it. So again, thank you for joining me on In Character. Know that we at the Foundation for Advanced Studies in Culture here in Charlottesville, Virginia, want to support you in ways that we can. So we want to be an asset to you because you've been an asset to so many people.
Thank you so much. And it's been a pleasure talking to you.